Am I wrong for not wanting to share my food when we eat out? It's not a sharing problem as it is an organization problem. Hear me out. My boyfriend, 26-year-old male, and I, 26-year-old female, went to have some coffee last Sunday. He suggested having a coffee with his dad. I had some free time, so I said yes. Turns out that it wasn't just my boyfriend, his parent and I. His brother, 23-year-old male, and new girlfriend, 28-year-old female, were there as well. No problem to me, it was the first time his brother introduced his girlfriend to us, and in general I get really nervous around people and going out in social events of all kinds. I'm socially awkward. My boy, he's a social butterfly. Anyways, my understanding of the situation was the following: each person pays for their own. So, we sat down and proceed to order. My boy suggested we order the tea for 4 and his dad order something on the side. So I take my time ordering exactly what I wanted to eat. I'm vegetarian, so I was careful about it. Everybody orders something different. I thought each was going to eat what they order. However, when the food arrived, tiny bites, lots of things, but tiny, my boy proceeded to cut everything in even smaller portions so everybody could eat everything. I was confused. I asked for a cheesecake and some only cheese sandwiches, the rest had ham meat and so on. My boy offered me the tiny piece of cheesecake and proceeded to eat a small part of it. I was nearly losing it. I can't take it. I got really anxious and say, "Dude, don't mess around, don't be annoying." His family gasped as if I said something serious, and he said, "Oh yes, me, doesn't like to share in front of everyone." I was really nervous and pissed off. My mood instantly changed. Nonetheless, I tried to stay calm and engage in the conversations. I dropped the subject since it was not the moment to talk about it. I told him a couple of days later that I thought what he did was kinda off. He said that I was being petty and unable to share. In his family, everybody eats everything, it's good up for grabs. I insisted that saying that in front of all of them was not okay. And not wanting to share everything when I clearly don't eat meat or dislike other things they order is not a crime. I am a very anxious person. I like to know how everything is going to be, and I expected to eat what I order, and instead I had to eat half of what I wanted. And his final argument was, "My dad paid for everything, it's like this in this family and they won't even accept my money or anything." I know it's a stupid thing, but am I wrong? Am I wrong for refusing to pay for my stepson's private school tuition? My kids don't go to private school. My stepson does, we just got married. His mom covers half the tuition fees, his dad, my husband, is expected to cover the other half. I actually didn't know he went to private school until now. Our half of the fee is about $16,000. My husband says continuity is important and we should just continue to pay for it to make sure he doesn't feel any disturbance. I think it's unfair and wrong for one child in the family to go to private school and have $16,000 of the family's budget spent on that when the other two don't. And we can't afford to send all 3 to private school. Spending this much only on one child's education would be favoritism, and I wouldn't fault my children for feeling neglected if that were to happen. So I suggested that his son can just go to the same public school as my kids go to. My husband thinks it's unfair to ask his son to change schools at this age, and that he's used to his current school, so it would be difficult to move to the public school. My stepson is 15 years old. My children are 14 and 11. My husband insists that we should just continue things as they were to minimize the effect on children, and insisting his son to change school is wrong. So, am I wrong here? Am I wrong for getting my boyfriend and his friends VIP access to a concert? Okay, so my boyfriend's best friend is having his stag do this weekend. They have a weekend planned full of activities, including going to a concert of a pretty well-known rock band. I work at the venue the concert is at. I'm a barkeeper and I work the backstage bar. The concert was yesterday evening. My boyfriend knew from the beginning that I will work at the concert. He was absolutely fine with it. Well, a few hours before the concert, I was chatting with my boss while setting up the bar, and he asked me what my boyfriend's doing tonight. I told him he'll actually be here as well with his friend on a stag do. My boss asked me if I wanted to get them backstage and VIP passes since the VIP lounge isn't sold out, and that's not a good look. Obviously, I said yes, and he put my boyfriend as well as my friends on the list. My friend was working the entrance shift that day, and she knows my boyfriend as well. So I figured I was going to surprise them and not tell them anything beforehand. Just told her to look out for him and then tell him they've been upgraded. Well, about an hour before the concert starts, I get an angry call from my boyfriend asking why I'm interfering with their stag do. I asked him what he meant, and he told me if they wanted to be boring VIPs, they would have bought VIP tickets. I apologized and said that I thought they'd be happy since they were going to get to see and meet one of their favorite bands up close. He hung up on me and hasn't answered to any messages since. To be honest, I don't really get it. Being VIP does not mean you have to sit there the whole time. You just get a spot closer to the stage and get to go backstage after the concert to meet the band and have free drinks. I thought I was doing something nice, and now he's mad at me. I didn't want to interfere with anything. So, am I wrong? Am I wrong for refusing to help out my mom and her new husband for household costs? I'm 29 and in a good place financially. I have a 13-year-old sister who lives with my mom. She has decided to marry her new husband about 6 months ago, who has 5 underage children that he cares for. So they all live in a house now, 6 kids aging from 5 to 14 and 2 adults. That house is a nightmare because of all the chaos and noise, but that's an entirely separate discussion. Her husband has now lost his job due to his employer going bust and is struggling to find new employment. This means their budget is now very, very tight as 8 people need to live off one income. My mom asked if I could help them out a little, and I've offered to help out by taking care of my sister. I told my mom that I'm happy for her to stay here whenever she wants to. I'll feed her and buy her clothes and other things that she needs. That should free up some money in their budget. She was initially very supportive and wanted me to do it, but later told me that her husband disagrees and says if one child has outside help that goes solely to her, that undermines the idea that we're all in this together, and instead asked me to give them the money that I would have spent on my sister to them, so that they can use it for the entire family. I told them that I wouldn't do this, but my offer stands. My mom later kind of complained that my help is coming with strings attached, and I told her that I don't think I'm being unreasonable here. For one, it's not really my responsibility that she decided to marry someone with 5 children. Caring for that many children is expensive, and this is something she should have considered. And my offer to take care of my sister should help them out. But my mom thinks I was being very selfish for not considering the other 5 innocent children who are struggling and insisting that my help should only go to my own sister. I was kind of surprised she thinks that way, but I've been wondering that maybe I'm being unreasonable. That's it for today's story time. Enjoy the rest of the video.